Lieutenant Rachel Morgan stood on a desert hilltop at the Syrian border, watching through her binoculars as a man 400 meters away had a gun pressed to his head on the second floor of a ruined building. The man was Major David Chen, Rachel's commanding officer, her mentor, the man she'd known for 15 years, and the person holding the gun to his head was an ISIS militant. The intelligence-gathering mission had gone catastrophically wrong. Their team had been ambushed. Chen had been left behind. And now ISIS was announcing on social media that they'd captured an American officer. They gave him 12 hours before execution. Command said, "Pull back. We're planning an airstrike. We'll hit the area in 18 hours." Chen didn't have 18 hours. He had 12. And everyone knew what ISIS did to captured American soldiers. Rachel made her decision in 10 seconds. She checked her M4 carbine, loaded 6 magazines, put on her plate carrier despite the desert heat, and did something every tactical manual said was suicide. She went in alone. Broad daylight. No support, no backup. Just her rifle, and a 15-year-old debt. Because 15 years ago, in Iraq, Chen had saved her from death. Now it was time to repay that debt. If this story excites you, leave a comment and don't forget to subscribe. Because in the next 18 minutes, you'll see how an officer accomplished the impossible to repay a 15-year-old debt. Iraq, Fallujah, 2008. Rachel Morgan was a 22-year-old lieutenant, fresh out of West Point, inexperienced, on her first combat deployment. Everything she knew about the Army came from classrooms and training exercises. Real war was something else entirely. Major David Chen was her company commander, 38 years old, 16 years of experience, son of a Vietnam veteran father, calm, patient, one of those rare commanders who genuinely cared about his soldiers. Chen was known for mentoring young officers. He'd taken Rachel under his wing, teaching her what real leadership meant. Morgan, Chen would say, "Rank doesn't make you a leader. Your commitment to your soldiers does. If they're willing to die for you, you must be willing to die for them." Rachel never forgot. That day, March 14th, 2008, their convoy was on routine patrol outside Fallujah. 3 Humvees, 12 soldiers, standard procedure. But the Taliban was always watching, waiting, planning. The IED was buried roadside. Simple but effective. Rachel's Humvee passed directly over it when it detonated. The blast pinned Rachel to her seat. The Humvee rolled onto its side, slid on its roof, then stopped. Rachel came to dizzy, ears ringing, right arm broken, left leg trapped. And the smell, that terrible fuel smell. The vehicle was on fire. She tried to push the door. It was stuck. She tried to break the window. She didn't have the strength. Smoke started coming, thick, black, choking. Outside, Taliban fire had started. AK-47s, PKM machine guns, RPGs. Coordinated assault, a planned ambush to annihilate the convoy. Rachel panicked. She was going to die, burn in the vehicle. And there was nothing she could do. Then Chen came. He jumped from his own Humvee, ran 30 meters across open ground. Bullets were hitting around him, sand spraying. But Chen didn't stop. He reached Rachel's vehicle, kicked the stuck door open with 2 kicks, grabbed Rachel by the arm, dragged her out. Rachel had screamed, her broken arm burning with pain. But Chen didn't stop. He'd put Rachel on his back, carried her 40 meters to cover, away from the burning vehicle. 10 seconds later, the Humvee's fuel tank exploded. If Chen hadn't come, Rachel would have died in that blast. In the hospital with a cast on her arm and shrapnel removed from her leg, Chen had come to visit, bringing chocolate and a book. "Morgan," Chen had said, serious but kind, "you're my responsibility. I don't leave my soldiers behind. Never. Remember that." Rachel never forgot that day, never forgot that debt. 15 years later, Syria now, Rachel was 37 years old, first lieutenant. 15 years, 6 combat zones, 4 promotions, countless operations. She was no longer a green lieutenant. She was an experienced officer, hardened, wise, reliable. And Chen was still her mentor. Now he was a colonel, high-ranking intelligence officer, but still the same calm, patient leader who cared about his soldiers, still mentored young officers, still said, "I don't leave my soldiers behind." This mission should have been simple. Gather intelligence on an ISIS cell along the Syria-Iraq border. Small team, quiet operation. Go in, observe the target, take photos, get out. Risk should have been minimal, but ISIS was ready. Someone had leaked, or they were just unlucky. The ambush was perfect. 40 militants, coordinated assault, fire from 3 directions. Heavy weapons, RPGs, machine guns. The American team scattered. Panic screams on encrypted radio. Contact, contact. We're surrounded. Need support. Chen, as commander, had organized the withdrawal. While evacuating 2 wounded soldiers, he'd provided rear security. He was the last man, and ISIS captured him. Rachel, 800 meters away, had watched from the hilltop. She'd seen Chen being dragged by 4 militants, seen him taken into the ruined building, and she'd heard command on the radio. All elements, emergency withdrawal. Exit the area. Air support is being coordinated. Rachel had opened her radio. "Sir, Colonel Chen has been captured. We need to rescue him." "Lieutenant Morgan, your orders are to withdraw. Air support will hit the area in 18 hours. Stay at safe distance until then." "But sir, Chen, this is an order, Lieutenant. Withdraw. Now." Rachel closed the radio. Her hands were shaking. From anger. From fear. Both. 18 hours. Chen didn't have 18 hours. ISIS announced on social media within an hour, "We have captured an American colonel. He will be executed in 12 hours. 12 hours. Chen only had 12 hours. Rachel had to make a decision. The hardest decision. 15 years ago, Chen had saved her. Orders or debt. Which mattered more? Rachel remembered that day. The burning Humvee. The determination in Chen's face. "I don't leave my soldiers behind." Rachel completely shut off the radio, removed it, hid it under a rock, because command couldn't stop her if she couldn't hear them. She checked her equipment. M4 carbine, 210 rounds, 7 magazines, Beretta M9 pistol, 3 fragmentation grenades, 2 smoke grenades, 2 flashbangs, knife, first aid kit, water, map, compass. No radio, no support, just her and a 15-year-old Deet. Rachel began moving toward the building. The Syrian desert was 45 degrees Celsius in the afternoon. The air shimmered, the horizon blurred, each breath burned the lungs. Rachel's uniform was soaked with sweat within 10 minutes. Thirst was immediately felt, but there was no time to stop. The building was a typical ISIS stronghold, 4 stories, an old apartment building, destroyed in war, heavy weapons from windows, snipers on the roof. ISIS used many such buildings in the area, both shield and fortress. Rachel approached from 800 meters using every rock, every piece of debris. It took 2 hours, but she got to 400 meters. Then she found a position behind an old tank wreck. Shade, good sight lines. She pulled out her binoculars and started counting. 22 ISIS militants, 4 on the roof, in sniper positions, scanning the surroundings. 6 at the main entrance, 2-man shifts in groups of 3, not professional but disciplined enough. 12 inside the building, visible from windows, moving around. Weapons, mostly AK-47s, several PKM machine guns, at least 2 RPG-7s, standard ISIS equipment. Training levels, mixed. Some professional, probably former Syrian army. Some amateur, just holding weapons. Weak points, the rear. The back of the building had collapsed. There was a pile of rubble. Could be an entry point if they weren't guarding it tightly. Rachel watched for another 30 minutes, learned patrol routes, noted shift change times, who was disciplined, who was lazy, who was careless, and She made a plan, a terrible plan, but there was nothing better. Step 1. Create a diversion. Draw ISIS to the east side of the building. Step 2. Enter from the west through the collapsed wall. Step 3. Find Chen, rescue him, escape. Simple. On paper. 600 meters east of the building, there was an abandoned truck. Old, rusty, but everything Rachel needed. Rachel approached the truck, checked around. It was abandoned, empty. Perfect. She placed 3 fragmentation grenades inside the truck, attached a remote control to one, simple radio frequency military standard, connected the other 2 with wire. When one exploded, the others would too. Then she made a small hole in the truck's fuel tank. Fuel slowly leaked, absorbed into the dry ground. 10 minutes later, everything was ready. Rachel put the remote control in her pocket, moved back toward the collapsed wall. She took position, 50 meters behind the rubble. M4 ready. Waited. The sun began to set. Shadows lengthened. Rachel was soaked in sweat, tired, but focused. Time, 18:47. Rachel pulled out the remote control, pressed the button. The truck exploded. A massive fireball rose into the sky. Then a second explosion, a third. The fuel tank caught fire, exploded with a spectacular blast. ISIS militants shouted. Panic, confusion. Everyone ran east. Snipers on the roof turned their weapons. Guards at the main entrance rushed inside the building, then burst out, running east. Rachel moved. She burst from the rubble, ran the 50 meters at full sprint, reached the collapsed wall. No one saw. Everyone was looking east. There was a gap in the wall, narrow but sufficient. Rachel squeezed through, crawled inside, pushed her M4 ahead. Inside was dark, cool, smelled of dust and gunpowder. Rachel was on the ground floor of the ruined building. She looked around. Old furniture, rubble, broken glass. But no one. Sounds came from above. Footsteps, shouts, Arabic orders. Rachel approached the stairs, narrow concrete stairs. She went up, silently, each step carefully. M4 always pointed up. She reached the second floor. 2 militants were in the corridor, looking out the window, watching the explosion, talking to each other in Arabic. Rachel fired with suppressor. 2 controlled shots, fit. Both fell. Minimal sound, no alarm. 2 down, 20 left. Rachel moved down the corridor, checked every door. Empty, empty. Equipment room, weapons, ammunition, empty. Bedroom, dirty beds, empty. Where was Chen? Rachel went to the 3rd floor. More rooms, more emptiness. Then she heard it. A shouting voice, Arabic, then English. I'm a United States officer under Geneva Convention. You have no right. Chen. Rachel followed the sound to the room at the end of the corridor. Heavy door, locked from outside. She came to the door, listened. 3 voices inside, Chen and 2 militants. Rachel looked at the lock mechanism. Simple bolt, locked from outside. She had a plan, but risky. But there was no other option. She pulled out a fragmentation grenade, pulled the pin, held it for 3 seconds, kicked the door. The door opened. Rachel threw the grenade inside, dove right, hit the floor, wrapped her arms around her head. Explosion. The explosion shook the corridor. Dust, smoke, screams. Rachel jumped up, raised her M4, burst into the room. The room was small, windowless. There had been 4 ISIS militants, or there had been. The grenade had killed 3. Torn apart, covered in blood, dead. The 4th was in the corner, dazed, blood coming from his ears. He was trying to raise his weapon. Rachel fired. 3 rounds. He fell. 6 down. 16 left. And Chen was there. He was tied to a metal chair. His hands were handcuffed behind him. His face was swollen, bruised, left eye nearly closed. His lip was split, blood coming from his nose. His uniform was torn, bruises on his chest. But he was alive and conscious. Chen looked at Rachel, shock, disbelief, then recognition. Morgan? His voice was hoarse, injured. You Here. How? Rachel ran to Chen, pulled out her knife, cut the handcuffs. Let's save the talking for later, sir. We need to move. Chen tried to stand, staggered. Rachel caught him. Are you okay? Rib might be broken, left leg, but I can walk. Chen looked into Rachel's eyes. Morgan, did you come alone? Yes, sir. You're insane. Yes, sir. Probably. Chen tried to smile. His injured lip hurt. 15 years ago, I was insane too. I guess it's mutual. Yes, sir. Rachel handed him her backup pistol, Beretta M9. It's loaded. Be ready. Chen took the pistol, felt its weight, checked the slide. 15 years of habit. What's the plan? Escape. That's a terrible plan. Got a better one? No. Then let's go. But escape wasn't easy. In the corridor, sounds came from the stairs. Footsteps. Many. ISIS militants were coming back. They had heard the explosion. Rachel and Chen took cover at the door edge. Back to back. Chen raised his pistol, Rachel her M4. How many? Chen whispered. Started with 22. I killed 6. 16 left. Maybe more. 16 to 2. Not impossible. Rachel smiled. 15 years ago, it was 30 to 1, sir. This is better. Sounds in the corridor approached. Arabic shouts. Steel boots on concrete. Rachel pulled out her last fragmentation grenade. Be ready, sir. She pulled the pin, threw it into the corridor, waited. 1, 2. Explosion. Screams. Confusion. Now! Rachel and Chen burst into the corridor, through the smoke. 3 militants were on the ground, dead or dying. 4 were standing, shaken but raising weapons. Rachel fired. Controlled bursts. The first 2 fell. Chen shot the third with his pistol. Rachel finished 4th. 13 down. 9 left. But the alarm was sounded. The whole building knew now. 2 Americans armed, inside. Rachel and Chen ran for the stairs. Down. But on the ground floor, there were sounds. Many sounds. The remaining militants were organizing. They'll try to trap us, Chen said, breathing hard. They'll pin us in this bottleneck. Alternative exit. The roof. 4 stories high. We can't jump. We have to try. They went to the roof. The stairs were narrow, dark. The roof door was locked. Rachel shot the lock. 3 rounds. The lock shattered. She kicked the door. The roof was open, cluttered. 4 sniper positions, but empty. Everyone was downstairs preparing for assault. But now footsteps were coming. From the stairs. 9 militants. All at once, coming to the roof. Rachel ran to the edge of the roof, looked down. 4 stories, concrete ground, lethal. But the back of the building, the collapsed wall side, had a pile of rubble. Maybe it would cushion the fall. Maybe. We have to jump, sir. Chen looked down. This is suicide. Staying here is too. Chen looked at Rachel. 15 years ago, did you hesitate? No, sir. Then I won't either. Chen smiled, blood on his teeth. I'll have the honor of dying with you, Morgan. We're not dying, sir. Jump. They both jumped together. The fall seemed to last forever. Wind hit their faces. The ground approached. Rachel wrapped her arms around her head, bent her legs. They hit the rubble pile. Wood pieces, metal, garbage. Pain. Impact. But alive. Rachel tried to stand. Right ankle hurt, sprained, but not broken. Chen was beside her, holding his left shoulder, groaning. Are you okay, sir? Shoulder might be dislocated, but I can move. From above, from the roof, sounds came. ISIS militants had seen them, were raising weapons. Run! Rachel and Chen ran, 600 meters of open desert, no cover. The sun was setting, but it was still light. Fire came from behind. Bullets hit around them. Sand sprayed. Rachel stumbled. Chen caught her. They ran together, 400 meters, 300, 200. Rachel pulled out her radio, backup radio, the one command didn't know about. Opened emergency frequency. Overlook 6, this is Bravo 9. Emergency extraction. Package is secure. Sending coordinates. Response came immediately, angry. Bravo 9, we've been trying to reach you for 6 hours. Where have you been? Withdrawal order was given. Sir, Colonel Chen is with me. Wounded but ambulatory. Need emergency extraction. Now. Long pause. Then another voice, older, authoritative. Bravo 9. This is Overlook 6 Actual. How did you retrieve Colonel Chen? Rachel looked at Chen. Chen, covered in sweat and blood, was smiling. Sir, I went and got him. 15 years ago, I had a debt. Today, I paid it. The helicopter arrived 12 minutes later. UH-60 Blackhawk, flying low over the desert, door gunners scanning. A full infantry squad providing security, giving ground support fire. Extraction was fast and professional. Chen loaded first. The medic immediately started treatment, put in an IV, checked his ribs. Rachel boarded last. She looked back one last time. The ruined building was 800 meters away, smoking. ISIS militants were still there, but not approaching. The helicopter's guns were deterrent enough. The helicopter lifted. Rachel breathed, the first proper breath in 6 hours. Chen on the stretcher looked at Rachel. Morgan, sir? 15 years ago, what did I say? Rachel remembered. You said, I don't leave my soldiers behind. Chen nodded, smiled. Today you didn't either. Thank you. No need, sir. I paid my debt. Chen touched Rachel's hand. No, Morgan. You paid your debt, but today you created a new one because you saved my life, and I'll never forget that. If one day you're in danger, I'll come too. Debt for debt. Understood? Rachel held Chen's hand. Understood, sir. When they returned to base, Rachel was immediately taken for debriefing. Company Commander Colonel Stevens sat across the table. His face was red, his voice tight. Lieutenant Morgan, you directly disobeyed withdrawal orders. You shut off your radio. You engaged 22 ISIS militants alone. Why? Rachel looked Stevens in the eyes. Sir, 15 years ago, Colonel Chen saved my life in Fallujah, pulled me from a burning vehicle. Today, intelligence said 12 hours before execution. Command said 18 hours for air support. The math didn't work. So I went and got him, because he's my mentor, and what he did for me, I had to do for him. Stevens leaned back. And you'd do it again? Yes, sir, without hesitation. Stevens opened a file. You're being recommended for the Silver Star. You're also receiving an Article 15 for disobeying orders. Both decorated and disciplined. Make sense? Rachel smiled. Perfect sense, sir. Worth it. Chen was in the field hospital. Broken rib, dislocated shoulder, but stable. When Rachel entered, Chen smiled. Hey, crazy girl. Heard you're getting both a medal and punishment. That's right, sir. Chen became serious. Morgan, you saved my life. 15 years ago. I did the same for you. Now we're even. Rachel squeezed Chen's hand. No, sir, we're not even. We're family, and family doesn't leave each other behind. 3 months later, Rachel received her Silver Star. The citation read, for extraordinary heroism when she infiltrated enemy territory alone, neutralized 13 enemy fighters, and successfully rescued a captured American officer. Chen was there. When the medal was pinned, he gave the first salute. After the ceremony, Chen asked, what do we do now? Rachel smiled. We continue, sir. Watch out for each other, and maybe one day, live normal lives. 5 years later, Rachel and Chen both retired. They opened a coffee shop in Virginia. Chen and Morgan's Coffee. 2 silver stars hung on the wall, side by side. People would ask, what are these? Rachel would tell the story. Military service. I saved my friend. He saved me. But the real story ran deeper. 15 years ago, Chen created a debt by saving Rachel. Rachel paid that debt by saving Chen. But debt wasn't just payment. It was loyalty, family. And sometimes the greatest heroism is taking the risk for someone who took it for you. Debt for debt. Life for life. Family for family. If this story moved you, leave a comment. Don't forget to subscribe for more stories of courage. Thanks for watching.